So here we gonna explain about the Elizabethan Age. The first topic is about literary features of the Elizabethan Age. The first point in Elizabethan Age was the era of sonnet, introduced by Thomas Wyatt in early 16th century. Second, in Elizabethan Age, drama was really popular. And then third, the influence of Greek and Latin for the literary work. And then fourth, the rapid development of drama, pioneered by Shakespeare and Ben Jonson. Fifth, Elizabethan Age is the first and the greatest period of Romanticism. Sixth, the Elizabethan Age observed several important foreign book translation in the English language, and then the last period of independence.
Now we will talk about Edmund Spenser. Edmund Spenser, one of the most important poets in the English language, using an interesting writing style that became known as the Spenserian stanza and a voluminous vocabulary. Best known for his epic poems is The Faerie Queene, which he wrote for Elizabeth I. At 1599, he died and buried beside his master Chaucer in Westminster Abbey. Now you can see some of major works of Spenser, but the most famous Spenser work is The Faerie Queene. The Faerie Queene is the Spenser masterpiece. The first three books of this epic poem were published in 1590, and the second set of three books were published in 1596, although Spenser did indicate that he originally intended the works to be 12 books long, so the work we see today is incomplete. The poem follows several cliques as a means to examine different virtues, and though the text is primarily an allegorical work, it can be read on several levels of allegory, including as praise or later criticism of Queen Elizabeth I. Spenser presented the first three books of The Faerie Queene to Elizabeth I in 1589, probably sponsored by Sir Walter Raleigh. The poem was a clear effort to gain Count favor, and as a reward, Elizabeth granted Spenser a pension of life amounting to £50 a year. Now we will talk about characteristics of Spenser's poetry. 1. A perfect melody. 2. A rare sense of beauty. 3. A splendid imagination. And 4 is that is Spenser's idealism, his love of beauty, and his exquisite melody, which have caused him to be known as the poet's poet.
William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is an English writer who is often referred to as one of the greatest writers in England. He made various kinds of work which were then very well known by the public. William Shakespeare wrote for 25 years, creating 36 to 39 works that are recognized today. He stopped writing in 1611 and died a few years later in 1616. And his work has been translated in almost all the world living language and performed on the stage more than any other playwright. The following are the works of poetry he has written so far, namely Shakespeare's Sonnet, Venus and Adonis, The Rape of Lucrece, The Passionate Pilgrim, The Phoenix and the Turtle, A Lover Complete. And There are also works of his that are put into several categories, namely tragedy, comedy, and history. For tragedy, there are several works, namely Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, King Lear, Hamlet, Othello, Titus Andronicus, Julius Caesar, Antony and Cleopatra, Coriolanus, Troilus and Cressida, Timon of Athens. And for comedy, namely is The Comedy of Error, As Well That Ends Well, As You Like It, A Midsummer Night Dream, Much Ado About Nothing, Measure for Measure, The Tempest, Taming of the Shrew, 12 Nights or What You Will, The Merchant of Venice, The Merry Wife of Windsor, Love's a Lover Lost, The Two Gentlemen of Veronica, Pericles Prince of Tyre, Cymbeline, and then the last The Winter's Tale. And for the last is history, namely Richard III, Richard II, Henry VI Part 1, Henry VI Part 2, Henry VI Part 3, Henry V, Henry IV Part 1, Henry IV Part 2, Henry VIII, and the last King John.
Ben Jonson, 1572 until 1637. Benjamin or Ben Jonson was an English playwright and poet. Jonson's artistry exerted a lasting influence upon English poetry and stage comedy. He popularized the comedy of humors. He is best known for the satirical plays Everyman in His Humour, Volbone or the Fox, The Alchemist, and Bartholomew Fair, and for his lyric and epigrammatic poetry. He is generally regarded as the second most important English dramatist after William Shakespeare during the reign of James I. Jonson was a classically educated, well-read, and cultured man of the English Renaissance with an appetite for controversy, whose cultural influence was of unparalleled breadth upon the playwrights and the poets of the Jacobean era and of the Caroline era. His ancestors spelled the family name with the letter T, while the spelling had eventually changed to the more common Johnson. The playwright's own particular preference became Johnson. And here are the major work of his poem, and the general characteristics of him was Jonson's plays show the touch of a conscientious artist with great intellectual ability. His vast erudition is constantly apparent. He is a satiric historian of his time, and he exhibits the follies and the humors of the age under a powerful lens. He is also the author of dainty lyrics and forcible prose criticism. Among the shortcomings of his plays, we may especially note lack of feeling and of universality. He fails to comprehend the nature of woman. He is not a sympathetic observer of manifold life, but presents only what is perceived through the frosted glass of intellect. His art is self-conscious. He defiantly opposed the romantic spirit of the age and weakened the drama by making it bear the burden of the classical unities.
Minor dramatists. First, Thomas Heywood, 1574 to 1641. In his play, Heywood presents the use of language that is easy to understand, clear and simple. However, it still has a high level of drama and includes broad ideas. One of his best dramas is The English Traveller. The English Traveller plot is excellent, and in reading few works of fiction, we receive an even greater shock of surprise than Geraldine's discovery of the infidelity of Wincot's wife, whom he loves with platonic devotion. Second, Thomas Middleton, 1580 to 1627. In terms of imagination and desire, Middleton is far superior to Heywood. Middleton is more focused on the mind and human life that is cynical, alert, but intelligent. Women Beware Women, a drama showing in depth study of the sources of human weakness, outstanding skills in showing loss successively in the tragedy. The challenging, his genius is most impressive. The Flores character is grotesque and sinister, which has almost no parallel in the entire range of Elizabethan plays. His brutal passions are not human. They can be considered to have arisen from a combination of animal and an evil energy in another realm that knows no laws beyond its own desires. After that, we move to John Marston, 1576 to 1634. Marston's play, a mix of comedy and tragedy, spirits cursed by friendship and their own minds, force out through fear and reason that they would decay if left inside. The comedies, the male content, the found, and what you will, lack genuine joy. The lower the object, the brighter it shines. It is stimulated by a desire to give pain, not a desire to feel pleasure. The last one is John Webster, 1580 to 1632. Webster was one of those writers whose genius consisted in the expression of special moods, which, outside of those moods, could not compel their creative faculties to passionate action. He literally concentrates evil and misery until his imagination is filled with them, finds terrifying joy in investigating them and tracing their consequences, thus becoming more aware of their physiognomy and psychology. By the power of his imagination, Webster became a playwright who confined the realm of his tragedies within certain limits and excluded all the variety of incidents and characters that could interfere with his master plan of evoking terror and pity. The character Ferdinand in The Duchess of Malfi is an honest and critically minded Englishman's conception of a duke and an Italian politician. Webster made him a demon, but a demon with a cursed soul.
Move to another topic is about the decline of the drama. So this is the effect of the decline of drama. First, novel displays the drama. Second, the absence of patronage by the crown. Third, the rise of Puritanism is a key factor in the decline of drama in England after Shakespeare. And then the last, the closing of the theaters by the plague outbreaks during 1592 caused theaters to close for 2 years. The difference between Shakespeare and Edmund Spenser's sonnet. As we mentioned before, in the Elizabethan Age was the era of sonnet. So what is a sonnet? Sonnet is a type of poem that contains 14 lines, is composed in iambic pentameter, and is formed to a specific rhyme scheme which varies for each type of sonnet. And then here, Shakespeare's sonnet. First, composed of 14 lines. Second, most are divided into 3 quatrains. Third, concluding couplet. Fourth, rhyming A-B, C-D, E-F, G. And then we move to Edmund Spenser's sonnet. First, composed of 14 lines. Second, the poems contain 3 quatrains as do Shakespeare's sonnet. Third, one final couplet. And then the last to follow a rhyme scheme of A B A B, B C B C, C D C D, E E. So, in the conclusion, the difference about Shakespeare sonnet and Edmund Spenser sonnet is about the rhyme scheme. In a Shakespeare sonnet, the rhyme scheme is A B A B, C D C D, E F E F, G G, and in another hand, Edmund Spenser sonnet rhyme scheme is A B A B, B C B C, C D C D, E E. After we talk about Shakespeare and Edmund Spenser, we move to the example. So here the example of Shakespeare and Edmund Spenser sonnet. So here the two poems from Shakespeare and Edmund Spenser. So take a look to the Shakespeare sonnet first. The Shakespeare sonnet contains 3 quatrains and then couplet. And then we look into the rhyme scheme. The first quatrain, the rhyme scheme is A B A B. How? So we can read the word in the ending. Day, temperate, May, dead. So the rhyme scheme is A B A B. It's same to the second quatrain. Shines, dimmed, declined, untrimmed. So the rhyme scheme is C D C D. The third quatrain, faith, oath, shade, growth. So the rhyme scheme is E F E F. And then the couplet, C, D. So the rhyme scheme is GG. We move to Edmund Spenser sonnet. It's same to Shakespeare sonnet, contain 3 quatrains and then 1 couplet in the ending. Take a look to the first quatrain. Strain, away, hand, pray. So the rhyme scheme is A B A B. And in the second quatrain, essay, immortalized, say, likewise. So the rhyme scheme is BC BC. The third quatrain, device, fame, enterprise, name. So CD CD. And then the last, the couplet, subdue, renew. So the rhyme scheme is EE. The rhyme scheme is we not talk about the same word but the same sound. We can read it again so we can conclude the rhyme scheme. Is ABAB or CDCD, EFEF or GG? It depends on the sound of the word. The same word can be one rhyme scheme.